Inalienable bodily organs. Advances in medical technology have sharply increased demand for transplantable bodily organs. Superscript 57. It reads, an economist joke about this situation goes like this. A patient waiting for a heart transplant learns from his doctor that there are suddenly two hearts available, one from a 24-year-old marathon runner and one from an elderly economist. Without hesitation, the patient chooses to receive the heart of the economist. It explains to his astonished doctor it is unused. Back to the text. Each year in the United States, there are almost 80,000 people waiting for organ transplants. But the supply of suitable organs is much smaller, approximately 10,000 organs per year. Excess demand in a market causes the price to rise, which brings supply and demand into equilibrium. This cannot happen to transplantable organs because all states adopted the Uniform Anatomical Gift Act of 1968, which forbids the sale of organs. Consequently, gifts or donations are the only means by which to supply transplantable bodily organs. The donor may consent to give up transplantable organs in the event of his or her death. People often have the opportunity to consent when renewing a driver's license. However, less than 20% of the United States driving age population has filled out the donor cards. Absent consent, the current system typically requires physicians to ask next of kin whether they may harvest the organs of the decedent. This is not the best time to make such a request. To cope with excess demand, the United States has a non-market method of allocating organs. The rules are very complicated, but most organs are awarded in the order in which patients have been on the official waiting list. In 2006, the organization overseeing organ transplantation, UNOS, suggests an alternative rule. Organs may be given first to those likely to live the longest after a transplant. That controversial proposal is still under discussion. How to increase the supply of organs for transplant. Technology may develop more artificial organs, or technology may make it increasingly possible to transplant organs from other animals into humans. Alternatively, a regulated market in human organs might be allowed somewhere in the world. The virtues and pitfalls of such a market are explored in the sources that follow. However, some nations have already implemented a rule that dramatically increases the supply of organs. We called the current donation rule required consent, while less than 20% of the United States driving age population has filled out the donor cards. 85% of that same population say that they are willing to make a donation of their organs. An alternative to required consent is a rule of presumed consent. Everyone is presumed to have consented to his or her organs being harvested upon death unless they have affirmatively declared otherwise. Data suggests that switching from required consent to presumed consent dramatically increases the supply of organs. The 4 European countries with a rule of required consent, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom, have much lower rates of donation, ranging from 4.25% in Denmark to 27.5% in the Netherlands. Then do the 6 countries, Austria, Belgium, France, Hungary, Poland, Portugal, and Sweden, that use a rule of presumed consent, ranging from a low of 85.9% to a high of 99%. Sources: C. Lloyd R. Cohen, Increasing the Supply of Transplantable Organs, The Virtues of a Futures Market, 58 geo.wash.l.rev 1, 1989, and George Crespi, Overcoming the Legal Obstacles to the Creation of Futures Markets in Bodily Organs, 55 Ohio State Law, J.1, 1994, and Richard Epstein, Moral Peril, Our Inalienable Right to Healthcare, 1997, Eric J. Johnson and Daniel Goldstein, Do Defaults Save Lives? 302 Science, 1338, 2003.